This video is brought to you by Sailrite. Visit Sailrite.com for all your project supplies, tools, and instructions. In this video, we will install the twist lock fastener cloth to cloth with buttons. Sailrite stocks many tools that can accomplish the task. We thought we would touch on the most popular tools used for the installation of the twist lock or common sense eyelet and stud. First, we will show installing the eyelet with a hole cutter designed for the task or a standard pocket knife. Then we will show installing holes for the twist lock stud's buttons using a hole cutter or the stay put spin cut. Then finally, we'll show installing the buttons using two different snap installation tools or the SnapRite twist lock die kit. Let's get started. First, we'll install the eyelet. The easiest way to install the eyelet is to use the common sense eyelet hole cutter. It cuts the 4 slots for the prongs and the oval hole in the center all at once. Zach lines it up so that it will punch the hole right where he wants it in that hem. It is best to do this on a solid surface. We have a rubber cutting pad underneath to prevent damage to the tool, and we did use a very heavy mallet. In fact, it's called the Barry King mallet. And that is important. It will not cut a hole unless you use a heavy mallet. Now we push our eyelet through, place the washer on top, and then we can use our prong bending tool. If you don't have the prong bending tool, you can use a screwdriver to bend the prongs over as well. Here we're using a screwdriver just to show that the prongs can be bent over with that as well. Don't want to spend money for the common sense eyelet hole cutter? It can also be installed using a knife. Next we'll show you that. Here Zach is marking each one of the 4 prongs with a soapstone pencil. Now he can use those prongs as an indication on the fabric of where we need to create the slits. He'll press it onto the fabric, and that hopefully will leave enough marking of the soapstone pencil on the fabric so we know where to place the slits in the fabric. Here we're using a knife. A razor blade will also work for this. Using a knife like this to install 15 or fewer of the eyelets is possible, a little bit time consuming, but if you have more, we recommend you purchase the common sense eyelet hole cutter. Once those slits are made, we can push the eyelet through the fabric. Obviously we want to push it through the outside surface of the fabric until the prongs are coming through the bottom side. Cutting the slits for the 4 prongs is rather easy. However, cutting out the oval in the center is a little bit more difficult using a knife. Here Zach made a slit and now is marking the center hole with a soapstone pencil to determine how big that hole should be. Via that slit he made in the fabric, he's going to try to cut it out with scissors as best as possible. This is not a very clean way to do it, but it does work. If you have a sharp razor blade, you can try cutting out the center with a sharp razor blade. Fast forwarding a little bit, and here's the progress. He's almost got it all cut out here. Now that we have 4 slits for the prongs and the hole's been cut out, we can install the eyelet. After the eyelet and washer are installed, we can use a hot knife to clean up that center hole. Push all of the legs of the eyelets through the slits. Then lay the washer in the center. To bend the prongs over the washer, we're going to use the prong bending tool. A screwdriver or other blunt object can also be used to bend the prongs over, so don't feel like you need to buy this special tool, though it is a little bit faster for production. Using the Sailrite Edge hot knife with the R blade, we can dress up the edges of that hole that we cut out with scissors here. This should only be done when the fastener is installed. The fastener will help you from burning any of the fabric around the fastener. Don't have a professional hot knife? Use a soldering gun or a wood burning tool. So you have 2 options to install the eyelet, the common sense eyelet hole cutter or using a knife. Now that the eyelet's installed, we need to install the stud, and we're going to use buttons to do that. But first off, we need to make 2 holes for those buttons. To install the stud, we'll use the eyelet we just installed and place it over the location where we want the stud to be positioned on our opposite piece of canvas. These studs have a 2-hole base, so we'll use snap buttons to install them. Position the stud over the center of that mark and in the center of the hem. Then use a soapstone pencil and mark the locations of the 2 holes. We'll be using an 1/8 inch hole cutter available from Sailrite to punch the holes to insert our buttons. Keep watching and we'll show you how the spin cutter works to cut holes. If you don't have an 1/8 inch hole cutter or a spin cutter 1/8 inch, you can use an awl and create holes with that, but you will have to widen them. Another option for cutting the holes is using the stay put spin cut. It is used in a drill. Place it over the hole that you want to make and depress the trigger and your hole is made. To prevent damage to the spin cutter, we're using the premium cutting block on the bottom side. Nice thing about this premium cutting block, you can also hold it in your hand to drill a hole. Now we need to install the twist lock fastener 2-screw stud, and we're going to use buttons to do that. To install, we will demonstrate 2 installation tools. First, the snap fastener installation tool. This is a very cost-effective tool, but will only install nickel-plated buttons, since it is an aluminum tool, which is a soft metal. Secondly, we will show the Sailrite Snap Fastener Deluxe Installation Tool. It is a steel tool and sets both the nickel-plated and stainless steel snaps. First off, the Snap Fastener Installation Tool. The sleeve will get in the way of the stud, so we like to take channel lock pliers and push the sleeve so it's stuck on the top portion of that tool. Onto the concave side of the anvil, place your button. Then push the barrel through one of the holes that you created. Now we can position our stud on top of that and use that tool with a heavy mallet or a hammer and pound the barrel until it makes a nice mushroom over the base of the common sense stud or twist lock stud. The process is the same for the other side. Our common sense stud is now installed. Here's what it looks like when the eyelet is placed over that stud. Nice! Next up, we'll demonstrate the Sailrite Snap Fastener Deluxe Installation Tool. This tool is great for nickel-plated brass snaps and also stainless steel snaps. Onto the concave side, we placed our snap and then pushed the barrel through the fabric assembly. Now we can use the anvil portion of this steel tool rather than the aluminum tool that we showed earlier and give it a few blows with a hammer or a mallet, and our snap is installed on that side. Now we'll repeat the process for the other side. Since this tool is made from a hard steel, it will install both nickel-plated and stainless steel snaps. There is yet another way to install the twist lock studs, and that is using the SnapRite twist lock die kit. This kit contains everything you need to install these studs, except for the SnapRite buttons and a riveting tool. A SnapRite button has a hole in the middle for the mandrel. We've screwed the SnapRite button die onto our riveting tool, and will now insert a SnapRite button. Next, we'll insert a stainless steel mandrel into the SnapRite twist lock die. Using the Stay Put spin cut tool and the premium cutting block that comes in the kit, make the holes in the appropriate spot in your canvas for your stud application. Then we'll insert the barrel of the SnapRite button through that hole. Place the twist lock stud on top of that, and then take the SnapRite twist lock die and place it with the mandrel in the middle through the middle of the barrel. Be sure the mandrel is flush with the bottom of the twist lock die. Now simply squeeze the lever of your riveting tool until firm action is felt. That should be enough to roll the barrel of the snap over top of our base of our twist lock fastener stud. Beautiful. Now we just need to repeat the process. Mandrel through the SnapRite twist lock die, button in the button die, barrel through the hole and into the base of the twist lock stud, mandrel through the middle of the barrel. Be sure the mandrel is flush with the top and simply depress the levers until a firm feeling is felt. That typically confirms that the top of the barrel is rolled over beautifully. Be sure when removing the mandrel, the lever on the riveting tools are spread apart all the way. Then the mandrel will be removed easily. And that is the final way that a twist lock stud with 2-hole base using buttons can be installed. These are not all the tools that can be used to install twist lock fasteners, but they are the most popular. If you have questions about these tools and how to use them, give us a call at Sailrite or email us. We're glad to help. I'm Eric Grant, and from all of us here at Sailrite, thanks for watching.